welcome back. Okay, welcome back. We got a show. Alright, so, this is not that poem. Good start. Here we go. Astrometaphysical by Robert Frost. Do you want to talk about the title? You had a very big reaction to the title before we start.
Whenever I first read the title, I figured it was going to be something about space, because it said, like, astro. And then I was like, there might be a couple metaphors in there, because it's meta and then physical. I wasn't sure, but,
And he also said it was a tongue twister, so I think he wanted it to stand out as far as a poem goes. That's why I picked it, because it was, like, cool sounding. Anyway, the general meaning of this poem that I found is Frost had a fascination with the stars and things celestial, and he also had a problem not being able to connect to them because all he could really do is look up, and he never could actually physically be with the stars or in the stars. And also he had a very questioned opinion of religion and was very curious about it, however didn't have any solid beliefs in it. So this is kind of him exploring his own beliefs about God and the existence of things. Lord, I have loved your sky, be it set against or for me. I have loved it clear and high or low and stormy. So he's immediately addressing God, or Lord, as he calls it, and he's just confessing his love for the sky that he's probably looking at right now.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's I've loved your sky. You can't actually love a sky, because it's not like an object, but you can like look up and kind of wonder and question things, and I think that he has an interest in space and the sky and stuff like that.
It also sounds like he's sucking up to the Lord, sort of like saying that he loves all the wonderful things that he's done.
But it also kind of sounds like he's asking for something in return. Like he's saying, like, I've loved your sky, I've loved it when it's been good and bad, and now it's like the next part, it's like he continues to say that he's been through it and ups and downs, and I feel like he's asking for something in return almost.
Yeah, he makes a bit of a tone change between loved it clear and high or low and stormy. He also juxtaposed the two things, so he's loved it through its all its ups and downs. Till I've reeled and stumbled from looking up too much, and fallen and been humbled to wear a crutch. So basically in this stanza, he's literally like looked up, gotten dizzy, and fallen over. Which like kind of, I also said that it was like, he's like gone through like pain because he loves the sky so much. It just shows his devotion. I reeled and stumbled. There's also some good consonant sounds in there. I kind of said that reeled has more harsh sounds, so I guess he's kind of fallen over, and the stumbled, it has more of a thudding kind of presence, so maybe he's fallen over. I guess he just wanted that to be really visual. And there's another fulcrum or tone change at the last line, to wear a crutch, so it's obviously been like a lasting injury that he's had from this. My love for every heaven, over which you, Lord, have lorded, from number 1 to 7 should be rewarded. I was looking at the things that he's referring to in this. Heaven's capitalized, and also the line 1 to 7's capitalized. So I researched those, and it could be referring to a number of things. There's 7 creation days of the world, right? There's like 6 creation days and 1 rest day.
Yeah, so we figured that could be a biblical allusion, because it happens to be 1 to 7, and they're also capitalized. So
yeah, so my love for every heaven. So he's loved everything that the Lord has made in all those 7 days. Also, there's things I found called 7 heavenly virtues. There's the 7 deadly sins, and then the 7 heavenly virtues. And the 7 heavenly virtues were things like honesty and like justice and things like that. And those were the things that Frost himself really saw as important. So it kind of showed his own mental thoughts of the world, opinions.
Yeah.
And then should be rewarded. So what Brandon said, right, I've loved everything that you've said, so because I've loved all this stuff, I should be rewarded for my devotion to you. I should not dare to hope that when I am translated, my scalp will in the coat be constellated.
So here, and it ends in constellated, which is a celestial image, has to kind of do with astronomy and things like that. And there's also a rhyme with hope and cope, and translated and constellated also end the rhyme as well.
So I guess he really wanted that stanza to stand out because the rhyme's really easy to catch in there. There's some like minor rhyming that's like, I mean, it sounds like it rhymes, but I guess that's like really solid rhyming. I should not dare to hope. I think also in this stanza he seems a little unsure about what God can do for him or where he's going or his own
Yeah.
beliefs, which is something that he wanted to show through this poem. That when I'm translated, that I guess that could have multiple levels of meaning because what I thought it meant is like from like being alive to dead, so translating from one side to the other. But that's true. It could mean like a couple. I mean, translated is like it could even mean like translated from believing in this religion to not believing in the religion.
Yeah.
So through the Lord and all these wonderful things he's made, he should change as a person.
The thing that I didn't understand was why he used scalp instead of like head, because scalp is kind of very I don't know, it's raw and kind of animal like. Because you always learn about how the Indians would like scalp people and stuff like that. So I am curious why he would use scalp. Why do you think he would use scalp?
I honestly thought it was because the guy was bald. Like I thought, like because I had the image of like a bald head being covered in stars. I don't know. It might not be, but also I think isn't there like I don't know when you're like baptized, aren't you like crossed like on your head and stuff? Like with
Sure.
holy water and yeah. Well, anyway, I think he just wanted a really raw image, and also the synecdoche through that. So like it's not just his head, his scalp that's actually like translated; it's his whole body.
Alright.
Cope, that could mean like in the cope. It could mean like in the struggle or in the coping of life. Or a cope is also like a mantle that's like worn by people in churches during like funerals and stuff like that. So I guess that would mean something that would like if he dies, that would be him being translated, and that's what would be word. And then constellated, yeah, it's a form of cluster or grasp gathered together. So yeah, that's like the stars that he was talking about.
Alright, then the final stanza says, "But if that seems to tend to my undue renown, at least you ought to send me up, not down." So it ends. At least you can send me up, not down. So I think this is what he's finally asking for: is for him or for God to send him to heaven and not to hell, to send him up and not down. Because he's done everything. He's wondered and questioned and battled and been a kind of, I don't know if he's been exactly the most religious person, but he's definitely kind of questioning that. And in the end, he's saying that if there's anything that God can do, it's at least send him to heaven.
Yeah, I think it's pretty bold of him as a poem to ask this because like he doesn't have this much of a belief, but that's what he's saying. Like I know I haven't believed in you that much, but I really like all the things that you've made, so I think you should like send me to heaven anyway.
Yeah. And I think also for him to talk about, so the title is what, the astro-metaphysical, and he doesn't say anything about God at all in the poem or in the title, but he talks about the stars and maybe how it all started out, how people looked up at the stars in the beginning and asked if there was anything more to life than just it kind of itself. So
I also think it's generally when people are talking about God and things, they capitalize things like yours and he and him. But here, Frost doesn't do that, so it kind of shows his unfamiliarity with the customs of religion and things like that. And also the euphemism in the last line, just he doesn't want things to be too harsh. He doesn't want to say like heaven and hell. He wants to kind of be pretty general about stuff.
yeah, so that wraps up number 4-4. We'll see you later.